So from here on, Season 4 of The Shield Hero begins. Until recently it seemed impossible that 4 heroes could have worked together, but now they're all together. Then another problem arose as Raphtalia's homeland is sending assassins to kill her because she wore the dress that resembled their king. So Iwata has to go to Siltvet to get a boat to go to Q10 Lo to talk with their emperor before the Phoenix revives. Their Iwata took a little break, but suddenly someone attacked him out of nowhere. Iwata was on guard, but it turns out to be Fellow and Melty. It was too much of a coincidence to find them here, so Fellow revealed they met Vittoria while training and she said they'll met Iwata in this place. She had a request for him, but Iwata wants to solve his own problem first. Vittoria already helped Melty and Philo level up as an advance payment, so Iwata checked and saw their level as the same as him when he had fought the Spirit Tortoise. But still, he had another important task on hand, so he told them to do the job. But Vittoria specifically said it has to be Iwata. She knew they were heading to Q10. And Philo told her Iwata ignored her request because he wants to solve Raphtalia's problem first, and that is why he came to check up the border to Siltvet. At the time, people in Iwata's town were working hard and Atlas was showing a bright future in martial arts, so when Iwata returned, he told everyone about his plan to leave for Siltvet by tomorrow. But they couldn't take a carriage through portal, so he told Melty to ask her mother to prepare a carriage at the border checkpoint. But it will be important to remember who they're going to take to that kingdom. Certainly they can't take Melty because she's the princess, and since Siltvet is a demi-human nation full and Atla would be good, those two siblings are growing stronger by the day, especially Atla. And Siltvet is their homeland, so it might work in that sense too. Sadly, other heroes can't join them because they're still recovering and they have to get fully healed by the time Phoenix revives. By the way, he asked about any attacks in his absence and luckily there were none, but that was odd, yet still other heroes would be useful if the enemy pulls out any attack when Iwata is gone. But Iwata noticed that the weirdo was missing. Motoharu at that time was targeting the ninjas who pulled out those recent attacks. That dumbed head is still stuck up on Fellow and considers Iwata as his father-in-law. So in regards to his future father, he punished all the ninjas he came across even if they weren't behind the attacks. So let's get back to our main group. They had arrived in Siltvet and people had begun to notice the shield hero. Iwata is a celebrity in this nation, but away from there in Q10, a sly fox gives updates to the emperor on Iwata and Raptalia. But she asked the emperor not to worry because she will take care of the shield hero and the traitor. Unaware of those new problems, Atla and Full were enjoying the new area of the Siltvet that they weren't aware of, but immediately above them they noticed a giant banner. And there was no need to read it since people were welcoming Shield Hero with all their hearts. Then only after some minutes, royal guards came to escort Shield Hero with full dignity to the royal palace. It was the first time Iwata was honored with such things, and this reminds Naofumi of what the queen said to him when he met her. She said to stay on guard because royals of Siltvet will arrange a special variety of harem to seduce him. And once he falls for that trap he will be infected by an unknown disease. But that can't be right because this nation worships Shield Hero like a god. Even if they do, Iwata wants to depart as quickly as possible. Just like that, they arrived in the royal palace and were greeted by Werner, a representative of his Birdman race, so Iwata introduced himself as well as the others. Atla and Full were White Tiger race, so Naofumi said he bought them from slave trader and assured Werner they won't get involved in their country's power struggle, which was good to hear, and Werner then led them in the palace, where a whole audience room was prepared only to meet Iwata. He stopped others at one point because Iwata is the only one they worship and that is why they had prepared a throne for him. Other representatives from different powerful demi-human races came to greet them. It was too much now, so Iwata made it clear that he had no interest in becoming their king. He just happened to be passing by and promised not to overthrow their current regime, because all he wants is a boat that will take him to 10 and that's it. Werner then made it clear that he should rest first and attend the banquet tonight. That will clear out Iwata's every doubt, so Iwata mentioned he is in a rush, and more so others might not be as welcoming as them. But Werner was ready to purge them if anyone even dares to think that. Because their one life goal is to serve the shield hero. If that's the case, then Iwata said they should be doing what he asked them to do, and Werner was ready for it, but their god has returned to them, so how can they let him leave so soon? The people here worship the shield hero, so if he leaves like this, people will misunderstand that he's abandoning them, and worse, a military coup or riots might break out. It appears that Iwata is worth more than he realizes, and sensing that he agreed to join the banquet tonight, Werner happily said he prepared for personal room for him and his friends. But there is a risk in staying alone, so Iwata wanted his friends to be in the same room, which they couldn't allow, so Atla proposed that they should have room next to Iwata. People were offended. A white tiger servant opened her mouth. But Werner consented to it, and since there's time left before feast, Iwata wanted to go to the town. But Werner objected because they need time to prepare the town. Everyone would be caught off guard and they'll regret that they weren't able to greet their god properly, so at least Iwata thought to roam around in the castle, and yet he wasn't allowed to enter in a single room. At this rate he could expect his stay to be prolonged to months, and they can't let that happen because they have to be prepared for the phoenix as well. But someone was keeping an eye on him, and their Jiralis. Representative of the lion race showed up. He apologized for not being able to show up at the audience, but if he wasn't present in the audience room means he isn't that important, so Iwata doubts if he is capable of doing his work. But judging from his intention, Jiralis doesn't seem to be on Werner's side, but his offer seems to be too good to believe, and if they side with Jiralis, who knows what might happen. So all they could do is wait and observe for now and wait for the right time to decide. But sadly, right there our episode 1 ends, so stay tuned to watch the next episode recap on my channel, and for that, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. Till then, take care.